All right, we're looking at introductions to polynomials today. So this video is just all on some terminologies that goes with polynomials and understanding what those mean for this. So this is more just a kind of a vocab video more than anything else. So as we go through dealing with polynomials through the rest of our course, like we can use these terms and you understand what they mean. So all right, so every polynomial, just let's define what a polynomial is. If you look here on the right, I've got an example of a polynomial. Really, it's just adding and subtracting different terms that consist of variables and exponents. Okay. There's a couple things that cannot happen, first off, for you not to have a polynomial. This exponent has to be a number, and it has to be a positive number. So we can't have like a negative exponent on there. That's no good. That means that, again, that we don't have a polynomial at that point in time. Okay. We're also not going to have like square roots on the exponents as well. Like we're not going to take the square root of x. That can't happen. Really, it's just your variable and a positive exponent. And the exponent has to be a number. It cannot be a variable. Okay, so if like this was again a letter like y, then it was like x to the y. That'd be a problem. That's not a polynomial at that point in time. Okay, so let's just identify each of these. So a variable, guys. You guys have probably realized this is just the letter, and the letter that represents an unknown. Okay, so it's a letter that represents an unknown value in our expression. Okay, so for this one, our variable is going to be x, is what we have for this example right up here up top. Okay, coefficients. Coefficients are the the numbers in front of the variables. So these are the numbers in front of the variables. So we've got a few of these. Okay, there's actually a couple in this example right here. We've got the number 3, and we also have the number -8 as well. Okay, because those are my two variables, so there's my two numbers that are in front of there. Okay, terms are just the number of items that are separated by addition and subtraction. So in this case, I have 3 different terms here. So I've got this term here, this 3x squared, this 8x, and this 4. So again, the terms are just however many I have, however many values or however many items I have. I think it's better. I think of them as items. But if there's a better way that you can think of them, that's great. So this one, again, that has 3 in this case. My exponents are the values that are the powers. So these are just, again, these are the powers. And we have a couple of them. I have 2, I have 1. I guess there isn't anyone here. So, and then my constant is just my numbers. That's just the number, no variable. And so there is one of those in this one. That's the number 4 here. Okay. And then one other terminology here with this one is my lead coefficient. Since coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables, the lead coefficients is going to be the coefficient. Again, as long as you understand what a coefficient is, that'd be the first thing. So it's a coefficient with the highest power. So in this case, my lead coefficient would be 3 because there's my term, there's my highest power, and there's my coefficient with it. Okay. So sweet, good. Hopefully you guys are good with that. Again, there are 3 terms here. There's exponents, there's 2, and there's 1. Again, 2, and then we always have this 1 here that we just don't ever have for that one. Okay. Okay, so you need to be able to know, again, you need to be able to know what variables and coefficients are, and what a constant is. Those things help you a ton in this case. Okay. You also need to know how to put something in standard form. Standard form is just your highest to lowest power with your terms. Okay, so the highest to the lowest. So this one right here is actually already in standard form because we go 2 and then a 1 and then a none. Okay, so that one's already in standard form. So we'll show some examples of those here in just a second. The other thing we can do is we can classify, so we can sort them or classify all our polynomials by degree, which that doesn't have the right thing there. Let me fix that right now. By degree, and we can also classify it by terms as well. Okay, so we can sort them either way. It's just a way to categorize and to classify them. Okay, just like if we had people in class, we could sort them by whatever characteristic. Everybody that's wearing jeans compared to those that are wearing shorts or something like that. Okay, we could do that. So by degree is just going to be the highest power. We're going to look at the highest power for this. Okay, so let me give you this. So if for this, again, this is by degree here. So if I have 0 degree, okay, so I have again 0 degree. So that would be like if I had just the number 4. Okay, we're going to actually call that, it's a 0 degree, we're going to call that a constant, right? We've already actually classified that. Okay, so this is my example here. If I had a 1st degree, so an example of that, and again, we only look at the highest one, guys. So if I had a 1st degree, that would have to be something like 3x, because this is to the 1st power, okay? So that's a 1st degree polynomial. And you can either call it a 1st degree, or we can call it a linear. Whoops, linear. That's really bad writing. I apologize. Let me redo that. So a linear here. So again, we can call this either 1st degree or a linear. That means the same thing. Okay. So just moving up, if I have a 2nd degree, again, we can call something that has a 2nd degree. Here would be an example of that. We could have like 5x squared plus 2x. Again, my highest power is 2. I don't care. I know this is a 1st power, but I'm just looking at my highest. So that would be a 2nd degree. Okay. This one also has another name as well. I know a lot of people, this might confuse a lot of you guys because of this root word here, but this is called a quadratic. Okay, so a 2nd degree is a quadratic. All right, so again, this far right column's the same thing as the left. We're just putting a name, but you can call it a 2nd degree or a quadratic. Okay, if we keep moving on, we have a third degree, again, something that has the highest power of 3. So we could have like 7x to the 3rd plus x minus 9. That would be a 3rd degree because my highest degree is 3. Okay, so we call it a 3rd degree. And then the nickname for this one is it's a cubic. Okay, so these are just like nicknames. So a constant means 0 degree, linear means 1st degree, quadratic means 2nd degree, cubic means 3rd degree. Okay. We're not going to use any other nicknames other than these 4. Everything from there on is just by its degree. So, like if I have like 5x to the 4th minus 3x squared plus x minus 10. This is just, we're just going to call it a fourth degree polynomial. Okay, so fourth degree would be what that one is. We're not going to give it a nickname. These are the only nicknames we're going to give is constant, linear, quadratic, and cubic. Okay, the reason why we're just going to stop there is because a lot of times in any mathematical, I don't know, book or whatever, they usually don't go any further than that. They'll usually just refer to this as a fourth degree from there on. Okay, and then again, a fifth degree has the highest power of 5, sixth degree, highest power of 6. If you had a 78th degree, the highest power would be 78. Okay, so that's how we do that by its degree. We can also classify it by its terms. And by its terms is just however many terms there are, okay? So if I had like 5x to the 7th, and that's all I had, this is one term, right? There's no adding or subtracting to this. This is what we call a monomial. And all of these are polynomials, okay? So these are just more specific. This is a monomial because of one term. If I had like 7x to the 3rd plus 5, that would be a binomial, because in math bi means 2. Okay, so 2 of them, 1, 2. If I had negative 8x to the 6th minus 3x squared plus 4, now I'm talking about 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, and we call this a trinomial. Okay, because again, tri means 3. Everything from there on is what we call, again, these are nicknames for them. We're just gonna have everything else going to be a polynomial. Okay, so whether it has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 terms, again, we're talking about terms here in this case. Okay, we're going to call everything else a polynomial. Technically speaking, a monomial is a polynomial. Okay, we're just going to be a little more specific instead, and we're going to call it a monomial. Same thing with a binomial. That is a polynomial. It's just we're going to be a little more specific about it. Okay, so we can classify again by its degrees, which is its powers, terms by however many terms there are in this case. So if I gave you like negative 9x to the 5th minus 2x squared plus 7, and I asked you to classify it by its degree, we would say this is a 5th degree. Okay, this is a 5th degree because that's what its highest power, and by its terms would be trinomial. Okay, so this is by its degree. This is by its degree, and this is by its terms. Okay. Let me give you another example. If I had, let's say we had 2x to the 3rd. Again, I would call this by its degree a 3rd degree, or if you remember its nickname, we're going to call it a cubic. Okay, and by its terms, there's only one term, so this would be a monomial. Is how we're doing this. One thing I would look for is you do got to be careful that it's in standard form. Okay, so if let's say I had like 3x minus 7x to the 2nd plus 5 minus 10x to the 3rd. This is not in standard form. I'd need to write it in standard form. So we would go negative 10x to the 3rd, because that's the highest power, minus 7x squared. Notice that the values come with it. So 3, 2, and then plus 3x and plus 5. Now it's in standard form. Now if we go to classify it, this is going to be a 3rd degree, so this is going to be a cubic. And in this case, I have 4 terms. Anything more than 3, we're just going to call it a polynomial. Okay, so put it in standard form first. That's a good thing, and it's just rearranging it so it's from highest to lowest is what we're looking for. Okay? All right. This has been your math moment with Mummy.